What is up, guys? Torrey Drake, Denver Realtor, and today I'm going to break down 7 things I think you should know about a new build contract if you're buying a new construction home that anyone shopping for a new construction home should know about, because that contract is literally completely different than the contract if you buy what's called a resale home. Now, knowing these couple things could literally save you dozens of thousands of dollars. That's a big claim, I know, but you'll see as I go through the video how helpful these things actually are. If you're new to my channel, my name is Torrey Drake. I'm a local Denver Realtor. I do tons of work in the new construction space, and I'm a big advocate for just taking care of my clients, so that's why I know these contracts. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first thing I want to state is I am not an attorney. I'm a real estate agent. I don't practice law. I can speak confidently on the resale contracts that real estate agents use, but builder contracts are very different. So just know that I am not an attorney. Which brings me to thing to know number 1 is that these builder contracts are written by attorneys who work for the builder. These contracts are written to favor the builder in pretty much every single way possible. Now, I'm not saying they're built to screw you. They're not. The builders want you to be happy, but pretty much everything they can put in their favor, they do put in their favor. And the thing, what's different, that's the way the new build contracts are, and how that's different from resale is that the resale contracts, if you're buying a home that's, the homeowner is selling with an agent, is that contract was drafted by the state of Colorado and approved by the state of Colorado, and it's meant to be basically evenly split down the middle as far as who is it favors. It gives a seller protection and buyer protection, but honestly, the Colorado contract to buy and sell real estate is extremely buyer friendly. For example, as a buyer using a resale contract, you have over 13 opportunities to walk away and not lose your earnest money. In the new build contract, is very limited opportunity for you to walk away and not lose money doing so. So right out the gate, know those 2 things. The builder's contract was written by their attorney to protect them, so it's going to be favoring them a heck of a lot more than you. Thing to know number 2 that's different from new construction and resale is new construction, there is very little negotiating power that you have in the contract. Why? Because these builders are building thousands of homes every single day. If every single home had different rules and negotiated terms, they would never get a home done. So they pretty much keep a standard. Very little negotiating you can do in regards to the terms. But just know it's usually much more rigid as opposed to a resale contract. Basically, everything can be negotiated. But thing to know number 3 for new construction contracts is your earnest money. So when you say, hey, yes, I want to buy a home, whether it's new construction or resale, there's something called earnest money. Basically, when you sign the contract saying, yes, I'll buy, it's a deposit you put down. Let's just say it's $10,000. For resale, as a buyer, you put $10,000 down. Like I said, there's over 13 to 14 opportunities for you to walk away and get your $10,000 back. With new construction, it is very, very, very hard, if not practically impossible, to get that earnest money back if you walk away. Pretty much the only time really you can walk away and get your earnest money back is if, you say, hey, I want the house. I'm gonna take it off the market, here's $10,000. Cool. Then they run your numbers and it turns out you're not approved. Like, oh, you only approved for $400,000, you can't afford this home. They'll give you the earnest money back 9 times out of 10 at that point. But once you're approved for the house, but if you do get approved for the house, basically after that point, your earnest money becomes basically non-refundable. And the reason that is that you may hear that and be like, that's bullshit, what the heck? Well, actually think about it from their point of view, because they're building a home, a product to your specifications, your requests, your vision for a home. They're building your home the way you want it to be built. They want you to have skin in the game, that you don't design this maybe lucrative, strange home that's gonna be hard for them to sell. And then you're like, you know what? I built a pretty weird home. I don't want it by. They don't want to then be stuck selling a product that you designed to the entire market. So it's a way for them to protect themselves. I agree. It sucks as a buyer, but also I'm just trying to say you can see it from their point of view. Thing to know number 4 is that when you're doing a resale home, I mentioned earlier, as a buyer, you have like 13 to 14 opportunities to walk away and get your earnest money back. 9 times out of 10, when buying a resale home, the last opportunity you have is what's called loan approval. So if it turns out like a week before closing, it turns out the bank says, we can't give you the loan. For a multitude of reasons, I won't go into that, but let's just say for some reason you can't get the loan anymore. You can still walk away and get your earnest money back. It's a bummer you can't buy the house, but you still got your money back. the deposit, that $10,000 in the earlier example. Now coming over to new construction, the loan approval, instead of being the last reason you can terminate, it's like the first thing they get rid of. Like I said, you put your deposit down and they run the numbers. If you can be approved, great. They lock your deposit in, they start building the house, and then like a year later, or 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, however long it takes to build the home, they rerun your numbers before closing, shortly before. So basically, a long time after you got approved. And if anything changed in your financial position for the worse and they can't give you the loan anymore, you don't get your money back. So, and that's a big deal because a lot can change in a year. You could have a kid, your car breaks down, you got to buy a new one. That changes your financial situation. You might not get the loan anymore. So with resale, you have like 30 days. It's unlikely anything's going to change in 30 days. And it can wait. If something changes, you can be like, I'll wait 30 days for it to close, and then I'll do whatever I need to do financially. New construction, so much can happen in a year to put you in a less financially advantageous position. They don't approve you for the loan, and then all of a sudden you waited a whole year for a house, then you can't even buy it, and you don't get your money back. That is a big thing to know. Next up is inspections. Now, when doing a resale home, buying a home off the market, you inspect the home, and if you find things that are wrong with it that A, you're not comfortable with, or B, that you ask the seller to fix and they are refusing to, you have the opportunity as a buyer to walk away and to get your earnest money back, as I mentioned earlier. With new construction, you still can inspect the home if you want before moving in, but you don't have that opportunity to terminate and get your earnest money back. It's built into the resale contract that you can inspect, negotiate, and walk away if you're not happy. With new construction, it's not built into the contract. You can bring an inspector in and you can submit the request if anything needs to be repaired, and they're gonna fix it because it has a warranty on it. But you don't have the opportunity to say like, oh, I'm gonna walk away because, and walk away and get my earnest money back, because you won't. But of course, that being said, you're buying a brand new home, so it's very unlikely anything is gonna really be wrong with it because everything's brand new. And if it turns out anything is minorly wrong, you can request that be repaired, because 99% of the time you're gonna have a home warranty that covers door to door everything within it. Number 6, and this is a pretty big one, is interest rates. This is gonna take me a second to really explain. Is when you go into contract with a resale home, a lot of the times a lender, because it's like a 30-day close, most of the time, the lender can lock your rates. Your interest rate doesn't change from the day you go into contract to closing, so your monthly payment really won't change during that time. Most often, even if they won't lock your rate, it's really unlikely, but not impossible, but quite unlikely that the interest rate will change during that 30-day period of closing enough to really affect the affordability of it. Could it go up and increase your payment by, a little bit? Sure. Could it go down and decrease your payment by a little bit? Also sure. But overall, that 30-day period, it's likely nothing drastic will happen. Coming over to new construction, because buying new construction are usually 6 months out, 8, 10, 12 months, or 14 months out from the home being done, the lender 95% of the time will not lock your interest rate until you're 30 to 45 days away from closing. Talk to the builder, the sales rep, and ask if the lender can lock their interest rate until closing. Sometimes they offer special programs like that. Sometimes. If they can't, most lenders aren't gonna offer an interest rate lock for that long period of time. So you just want to make sure that when you're going under contract, you're not already near the max end of your budget. You want to have a little bit of wiggle room if interest rates do go up. And last but not least is appraisals. If you don't know what appraisals are, I'm not going to explain that in this video because that would take an extra 3 minutes to explain, so I'm assuming you know what appraisal is. Now, in a resale contract, if the appraisal comes in low, like below what you said you're going to pay for it, and you say you're going to pay $500, the appraisal comes in at $450, your lender's only going to give you $450. There's now a $50,000 gap between what you offered and what you can actually get for the house in a loan. That opens up negotiations between you and the seller to tell the seller, hey, meet me 50 grand or less. And then the seller can say, no, you bring an extra 25 grand at closing, I'll come down to 475. Negotiations open up, and you as the buyer, if you're not happy with those negotiations, or if you're not happy with the appraisal, you can walk away. And guess what? Yes, get your earnest money back. So the stakes are low in terms of cost, that you can just get your earnest money back when the stakes are high in terms of losing the house. But you're gonna get your earnest money back. You can take comfort in that. Guess what? Not true with new construction. New construction, 90% of the time in the contract, it's gonna say whatever the difference is between what you said you're gonna buy it for and what are the prices at, You as the buyer are responsible for that. Now, that is pretty much never gonna be taken out of the new build contract. Remember, I said in the beginning that the new build contractor is not gonna negotiate those terms. However, there are some creative, if you're in that position where the appraisal comes in low, it completely depends on market conditions, how much negotiating power you have to get the builder to be willing to give it to you at a lower price. I'm not gonna dive into it too much in this video, but if you work with an awesome realtor, sometimes you can have some wiggle room in there. Well, that covers the 7 things that I think you should know about the new construction contract, especially compared to the typical resale contract. If you are considering buying new construction, I would love for you to leverage the relationships I have built doing as much work as I've done in the new construction space. You can reach out to me using my contact information in the YouTube description. If you dig home tours, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post daily home tours. And then on YouTube, I'm posting every single week new model home tours to help you shop for new construction homes, new construction community tours to help you find the communities you want to be in, and then new construction process info like this video you're watching here, just to educate you on this process. And once again, thank you to the Richmond American team at Crystal Valley for letting me film in their beautiful model home, the Hemingway. I'll put a link to that tour right there, guys. Please consider subscribing. Actually, just do it. Hit that subscribe button. Come on, help me out. I appreciate it, guys. Torrey Drake, Denver Realtor. I'd love to hear from you, because I've helped quite a few people already who've watched the videos. It's been so cool to hear from you guys. So please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. It's so fun. And I'll see you guys on the next one.